Hi everybody, this is Liz with 143 Handmade, and today I'm here to do quilt block number 9 of my craziest quilt. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go check out the playlist below. So, let's see. This center block, this is a leftover from my last crazy quilt block, or crazy quilt that I made. A crazy quilt block. And let's see, let's go ahead and start on this side. Oh, helps to turn the sewing machine on, doesn't it? Good thing this one doesn't need a big long warm up or anything. And then let's see. No, I kind of just want to use that one where I'm just going to use the whole thing. Let's see here. I think that angle will work with that other angle, so we're going to go ahead and go with that. There we go. Got one more light on in here. I think that helped quite a bit. And here we go. Something long for all across the bottom here. Have this strip of flannel. That's just the last little leftover bit from another project. There's my sweetie and her allergies. Do I need to pause the video and wipe your nose? Nope. Okay. So this is why, until I have my good workshop, I don't work on customer things when the cats are up and about and everywhere. But this is for us, this is for our living room. She's gonna be on it, so you know, it's gonna be washed a million times. Get that laid straight. Here we go, fold that over. I really like texture and, you know, things like that in my blankets. So these little tiny puckers do not bother me in the slightest. If those type of things bother you, then, you know, obviously, you know, feel free to go back and do something about that. You know, add that, you know, take that, rip those stitches out and make it straight if that's, you know, what you need to do to make it your happy place. You know, this is messy sewing. This is how I'm learning. I am not a master at all. I do not have a perfect precision anything in the sewing world. And so this is how I am choosing to improve my skills, is with low pressure tasks and projects that do not require precision. So, something I'm going to do, no, I don't want to use that piece because it matches this, that's all. I try not to be fussy, but these are all too small, and that other piece matched. So, you know, that's not, to me, that's not being fussy. That's just being reasonable. So let's see, where's my line? My line's about there. So that's as far as I need to sew, right about where these start. I don't need to sew much past that. So, here we go. way, and then flip it back just to make sure that my stitching, yes, my stitching did go across my black line there. So I did in fact sew long enough. Let's see, my other little pieces out of the way so I don't pull them off. And this guy's just a little bit long and a little bit in the way. So I'm gonna come in here and trim that off. I don't do a lot of trimming during the process. You can, feel free to trim as much as you know, to your heart's content. If you're watching this video, you've probably seen other crumb quilting, crazy quilting type videos where they trim after every single edition. I could not do that. That's just way too much effort. Way too much work. So let's see. Let's go ahead and add this nice pretty piece of flannel right along here. Because this is so wide, I'm going to go ahead and trim it off along the way. But like I said, I don't do a huge amount of trimming, as you've seen, and see like this little piece here, I'm never going to be able to use that for anything, so I'm just going to leave it behind there and let it be a little bit more weight, a little bit more texture in the blanket, because I really like textures. I have a new grandchild, new granddaughter. Well, she's new to me. Let's put it that way. My oldest son is marrying her mother very soon, and so she's 4, and she really enjoys the texture as well, as most 4-year-olds do. So I'm looking forward to wrapping her up in this after I get it done. What I'm doing here is I'm pulling it down and then flipping this back to right about where I have it folded to make sure that still covers, that the piece I'm going to add still covers, because I want to bring it down as much as I can so that way I get as big of a piece as possible instead of it being this little tiny rectangle triangle there in the corner. Check how I did. Yep, my stitch lines go over the line, and there's my point, and it is under this cloth, so I did really good there. Yay! Let's see, what about this corner? Is this corner covered? Not quite. It's in a similar situation, but we've got such a big piece here that I am going to go ahead and get rid of the bulk of this and save that piece for another day. And so I can do this again without that big extra, but you can see it's just that teeny tiniest of corner there. So I'm going to grab another one of these teeny tiny corners. Let's grab this gray one. And I'm going to do a similar thing where I fold this back to show me how big that rectangle, that triangle is, until I don't feel like I can pull it back anymore, and then I'm going to tack it on. And again, we'll make sure. Oh, my stitching didn't quite come over to this line, but as you can see on this line, I did veer a little bit, so it might be okay. And then fold it back, and where's the corner? There's my corner. Yep, it is under the fabric. So on this one, I probably should have taken it just a little bit straighter, a little bit more over here to this edge instead of along there quite so much. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with it because I think everything will be within the seam allowance once I go to adding everything in. Plus the fact that I like to do half blocks, and so for joining purposes, so that way I don't have to join, you know, keep everything on a grid. The half blocks allow you to stagger everything. And this corner is in pretty much the same predicament. So all my little pieces, I'm getting some good use out of my little pieces this time. And let's see. Where's some more of my corners? There's some more of my corners. Let's add this pretty flowered one. Hold on, Grunty, I'll be there in just a minute. One of my older dogs is asking to go outside just by walking around me all excited. She's like, come on, you know what I want. You know what I want. Let's go. Because Dad has the puppies out on a walk, but and we do take the older dogs out on walks too, just not the same kind of walks that the pups have to go on. Because the pups are a little over a year-old German Shepherd pups versus Grunty, who is a mixed breed of, you know, unknown origin, but she barely weighs 40 pounds and she's lazy. So, and let's see, how old is she? Let's see, she's creeping up on 10. Creeping up on 10 years old. I'm gonna have to do that math some other time when I'm not so distracted. I should know how old my dog is, right? Okay, let's see, where's this line on this side? Okay, this line, I am short on this line by quite a bit. So actually, instead of doing that little corner like that, you're going to see something that I don't do a lot of on these crazy quilts, but I am going to go ahead and do a smidgen of seam ripping. Okay, now she's starting to bark, so I gotta go let her out. I will be right back. Okay. Miss Gruntilda has gone outside. But yeah, she's a lazy dog. All she wants to do is nap usually. And we've kept her from getting overweight with just enough walks and enough playtime in the yard and whatnot, but she should not be walking on the same level as the German Shepherd pups do. So, anyways, but yes, I'm gonna go ahead and pull those stitches out, get rid of my threads. Okay. So instead of checking that little corner like I did, what I should have checked was the whole side and seen that I have quite a bit here that is not covered along this angle. So this is the angle I should have checked. And as you can see, that is a much larger piece than that little bitty triangle that I had just tacked on there. However, this corner is in fact covered. So what I need is something that goes from right about here to the other edge, and we'll cover that, preferably cover up all of that. Okay, that's not going to be long enough. Okay, well, here's a long piece of black. So just some plain black, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. Oh, my block fell down. So there we go. Lay that across there. All the way across, I think. Oh, scoot your tail out of my way. Yeah, that'll leave me a big enough chunk on the other end that I'm going to cut off that will still be usable. So straighten everything out. And here we go. came unthreaded for some reason. You know, because that happens on occasion. And my needle threader's not working, so I have to do it the old-fashioned way. Hey, oh, I got it and then undid it all at the same time. That's funny. And it's frustrating how that happens sometimes. Let's see. If it takes too long, I will edit this out, but hopefully I'll be able to thread this needle fairly quickly and not have to do that editing. There we go. And through. Okay. So, do over. I'll get a little bit more straight with my sewing machine. And here we go. So, and so that way I don't have this, you know, mile-long tail here hanging off. I'm gonna flip it over and run my stay stitch around and see how it looks. Double check if I need to do anything else. So thank you so much for joining me for this series, for everything. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not done so already. I have polymer clay videos that I do. I have the quilting videos. I have junk journal videos. I do all kinds of different crafts. So I have some watercolor that's going to be coming up that I have not played with before, so that'll be new to me. Not really. I mean, we did a little bit of watercolor when my kids were little, but I mean that's not the same. You know, as trying to explore it as an artist, as an adult. Okay, my tension got weird, so bunched up a little bit on me. That's okay on the stay stitch like this. I'm not going to worry about it. But what that probably means with this sewing machine and everything is that when I rethreaded it, I shouldn't have just rethreaded it. I should have gone ahead and pulled it, and something's not quite right, threaded properly in there. For the stay stitch that I'm going to end up cutting off of most of anyways, or it's all going to be within a seam allowance, I am not going to worry about that. For any of the, yeah, see, it's still bunchy. I don't know what the deal is there. Yeah, I had to break the thread again to get it to lay flat. For anything that was actually going to be of, you know, functional, long-term function in the blanket to hold anything together, then I most definitely would correct that and go back and, you know, figure it out. But for just the stay stitch along the edge, I'm not worried about it, because all that's doing is holding the layers together during construction and storage. And then once I but for actual, like, what's going to hold it together, these stitches don't have anything to do with that. So as you can see on the stay stitch, I did really good on that corner. That corner looks excellent, if I do say so myself. However, this corner, you can see I didn't quite get this little corner placed perfectly. It should have been a little bit more straight, but that will be sewn into the seam allowance. That is close enough to the seam that when it's sewn to the next piece, that'll be within that. I will just be careful and make sure to grab that, and that'll be no big deal. I may even trim it just you know, real close to this edge here, or just over. And who knows, but it won't be a problem, is my point. So thank you so much for joining me. This was block number 9, and so don't forget to come back to see the rest. There will be 30